Doubles and coffee. Keith Christopher Rowley, the Prime Minister of this country, really and truly has to be absolutely, completely, totally delusional. Imagine this man prepared a speech, thought about it, wrote it down, and included this concept that he is going to berate the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago for having no respect for the law and regulations. Remember the name I said, Keith Christopher Rowley. Off the top of my head, let me talk about some of the laws and regulations that Keith Christopher Rowley has either ignored, broken, don't care, has arrogantly decided to do his own thing during his tenure as a politician, a PNM minister, and a prime minister. Let me start with filling out his Integrity in Public Life Act forms. That Rowley said you don't have to fill out the form B, and he fill out the form A and he waive it and so on. The amount of breaches of the regulations and the law within that document with regards to Inez Gate, that goes without question. When Keith Christopher Rowley was a minister, we heard about land date and a file that the Integrity Commission sent to the DPP, but someone there forgot to notify Rowley, and therefore it was thrown out. But somehow the police didn't bother to investigate again. That file contained breaches of regulations and laws. Keith Christopher Rowley is the man who granted, in November of 2003, by his signature, prime ministerial approval, outline approval for his friend's son and his good partner Jeffrey Gillen of Woodgill Limited to go up in the sky in Shorelands, getting town and country approval to go up high, even though 1964 there was a codicil that said you could do no such thing. And citizens on at least 11 occasions previously had applied to go up high and had been denied. Keith Christopher Rowley is the man who make a sheep farm in Tobago and never apply for his CEC, the regulations, the law, the certificate of environmental clearance, and had to be brought up by the Environmental Commission and letters sent talking about the breach. Keith Christopher Rowley is the man who breached every regulation, convention on propriety and parliamentary procedure by calling a special sitting of the parliament, a motion of no confidence in a prime minister, knowing full well what he had in his hands for 6 months was false, nonsensical, not even emails concocted on a piece of paper and read them out for an hour and 15 minutes in the parliament, and up to this day continues to use those lies. Keith Christopher Rowley is the last Alturas man. He was the Minister of Housing. And on November 4, 2018, go and check the Guardian, the front page story, and then they just miraculously dropped this story, where there was a story about HDC projects, especially during 2003 to 2007, when Keith Rowley was Minister of Housing. Andre Montai was the chairman of the HDC board, and Faris a la tight pants a la Catwoman suit was on that board when they did over 1.8 billion in projects, whether it was in Greenvale, Harmony Hall, Edinburgh Towers, without requisite tongue and country approval, without WASA approval, without TNTEC approval. And the Guardian got to Rowley, and Rowley admitted, printed in the Guardian on November 4, 2018, that in order for expediency, they had to break the law and break the regulations to move fast because of the need for housing. That is Keith Christopher Rowley. Go and check it for yourself. And he asking you, the citizens, why you all don't respect the law and regulations. Keith Christopher Rowley is the man who did not respect the independence of the Police Service Commission, who went to the president and did not respect the president's authority and independence, and caused the president of the Republic, Paula May Weeks, to breach Section 123(4) of the Constitution, and then cause another public official to misbehave in public office, Bliss Prasad, to withdraw a list that was duly constituted. This is Keith Christopher Rowley, who asking y'all about why you don't respect the law and the regulations. This is Keith Christopher Rowley, who was a prime minister, sat down with his attorney general Faris Al-Rawi, got involved with a witness in a criminal matter, breaching the Constitution and the duties and responsibilities of the DPP, and entered into negotiations on behalf of the government with a matter of a criminal nature involving a witness, and signed, his attorney general, of which he is the prime minister and the head of the cabinet, signed an indemnity with Nelson in Nelson Gate. This is Keith Christopher Rowley, who said that the Bridgman's money, the Bridgman's contract, and where is Bridgman with this Kobo Star and the ocean stem that never reached, that was crooked money, that something was awry with the procurement. But yet it was Keith Christopher Rowley who on a Friday over the phone gave prime ministerial approval to sanction, to consummate this crooked deal that's still running and people nearly burn up in the Gulf of Paria. Keith Christopher Rowley gave approval for the Bridgman's contract and then went back to cabinet and told them to give him covering approval because a prime minister can't do that. So he approved the crooked money, call it crooked, and the crooked thieving money still running at $22,500 per day, even while it burn up there. And who paying for all the repairs and so on of this Kobo Star old rotten vessel that you taxpayers money paying for all the time? Is the port paying? And has the port paid for all the maintenance and all the things that went wrong with that old boat? And how much that boat was really working for before the last 6 years of Trinidad and Tobago, 25,000 US per day, now 22,500. Information is that it was only worth 7,000 US per day. So ask Rowley about who respect laws and regulations. When Keith Christopher Rowley went with Small Pin Young down into Australia and visited CEOs of Hostal and Incat and pretended to go through some sort of procurement process where his super minister Stuart Young got proposals from Hostal and Incat and their committee went through it, and then he handed out one and he also shared secret bidding information with Hostal to let them bring down the price. That's not a breach of the rules and the regulations of Ministry of Finance rules, the Central Tenders Board Act, procurement and so on. That's not breaches. When you ever hear about ministers procuring, Rowley created a system that ministers procure. They were supposed to lease a vessel, a fast ferry, and Imbot and Shampakujo and Lahant on a committee went and buy the slow boat to nowhere, the galleons passage for $120 million. And Keith Rowley talking about breaching regulations and rules. Keith Rowley breaches every regulation and rule in the world, even during COVID. How much time he get COVID? How much time he didn't wear his mask? How much time his ministers didn't wear the mask and they laughing all over? How come they had big wedding in the PNM while everybody locked down on COVID? How Delcy reached here to land with Astrobal Chavez? Keith Rowley asking you, the citizens, why y'all don't respect regulations and the law? What about the procurement legislation for CARICOM that they had to come and change and correct the thieving that they did to do in the parliament, to come and say, well, we procure, we break the law, we break the regulation. Oh, but let's go to the parliament and correct what we did wrong. And Keith Christopher Rowley, you are a man who break every law, even the laws of God. And one of the 10 commandments is thou should not covet thy neighbor's wife. So what you went with Daryl Smith wife for? What you tell? She walked down the stairs, past the 3 dogs in your house, past the parrot, open the dungeon office door and lie down on the red couch. That is not the breach of God's laws, God's commandment. Keith Christopher Rowley talking about breaching regulations. Keith Christopher Rowley, the biggest miscreant, dishonest, pathological liar in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, and all you're taking that from he? From Rowley? Well, good for all you. Not me. Bless.